All right, so what we are doing today? So, so just give me the problem, the list of problems, so that I can see, and then I can follow the sequence. So maybe all of you can give something, and then so that I can just keep this grades and testing. Yeah. So that regarding the test, we will take the best 2 out of 3, given that the final is mandatory. And then out of the best 2, I'll take the best one and I'll just do the 40% from there. And then other one I'll take 20%. So that's how we have 60%. And 20% will be coming from homework, 20% will be coming from the quiz. And there is a bonus. I think some of you, I think 1 or 2 probably have finished the bonus. There is a bonus added to the final. It was written in the course information page, second page of the course information. If you do the bonus, I can add the 5 bonus points with the final. Make sure you write your name there, because when you print the confirmation page, the name is not shown, so I don't know exactly who is submitting what. So make sure you write your name so that I can see it. Yeah. See, the final is mandatory because it's a policy by the college. Finance is mandatory, but it may be possible that your best is like test 1 and test 2. So we don't know exactly what will happen before we have the final. But you have to have the final for sure. But at the same time, okay, we also do the scaling after we have the whole total score, because when we'll have the score for the 100% for the whole class, then I'll know the highest score and the formula. Let me write down some formula here. Maybe you can just go over that. So let's say the best. So let's write the formula. So the best test times 40% plus second best test times 20%. Okay. Plus more time percent plus and then we'll multiply the whole thing by 100 over maximum score. This is what exactly we are going to do, unless I see something quite exceptional. So this is what we are going to do. After we have the total score, I'll just multiply the whole thing by 100 divided by maximum score of the class. So now it's up to you. If the maximum score is 90%, then it will be multiplied by 100 by 90. So the person who got the maximum, I'm saying the 90, he or she will get 100. Everybody else will be multiplied by their factor. Now, the less the highest will be, the more the bonus will be. Now, excuse me. For an example, if the highest is 50%, it will never be the case, but just as an example, if the highest is 50%, so everybody's score will be multiplied by 2. Right? Because it will be just multiplied by 100 by 50. But there's a formula by the economics that because everybody will try to maximize their score, so we don't know exactly. So the worst happens sometime in such cases. I'm not hoping so, but worst happens when someone is really great and he or she is scoring like 98 and everybody else is like in 70s or 80s. But as far as I see, the score is pretty much like scattered in a range. So at this point, except the final. because I see most of the score right now except the final and the quiz for chapter 8 because that's due tonight. And some of the homeworks, I think, are for chapter 8 as well. Any other question? The bonus, you want to know the information for the bonus? Do you have that course information page with you? Check the page number 2 of that course information. The one that I gave you, yeah, page 2, second half. Do you see the bonus category there? There is a bonus point after the mark distribution. Yeah. So make sure you finish the bonus by sometime by today or maybe right now if you have access to computer. I think you sent me an email. That the one that you sent me is basically an email replied when you open the account. But you have to write the review. What happens is when you submit the review, it shows a confirmation page. It doesn't send anything to the mail, but there is a confirmation page sent. So you think you submitted, but you did not have the confirmation page. Okay. So I'll check that. But in general, I don't know exactly because it's anonymous. So that's why I need the confirmation page to see who submitted what. So if you just give me the confirmation page, so I'll know and I can add the, and possibly if you give me today, but I'm not sure. And you can also send me over the email if you want. You can send me the confirmation page over the email, so then I can add your points to the course grade book, so that you can see the grades you have and the bonus points. Because otherwise, I'm not sure, probably the class, you will not be able to see the grade book after tomorrow. I'll be able to see it, but I'm saying if you just want to make sure that your grade point or the bonus points are added, you can submit it today, or maybe you can send it over the email. I can, as long as I see the confirmation page, I can just add the points here. Gradebook will be working, but you have to say you will always rely, because the final grade is released by the college. Yeah, that's that's something like we know the, yeah. So I think if you go to the My Southwest, but you cannot see, probably you will not be able to know your grade before July 3. That's the official deadline, because the final grade is something which is released by the college. It's not released by me, because even if I try, I'll not be able to do that. Because if you go to the My Southwest, there is some kind of, I think, self-service, right? If you click the link, you will. I see my self-service, but the options I have and you have is a little bit different. But there will be something like transcript. Yes, active transcript or something like that. Yeah, there is a transcript link. If you click it, you see the grades of like everything. And also there is a student tab, I think. Under that, you see the grade for this semester when it is. But as far as I know, the official deadline for the grade is releasing is July 3 for the students. So you'll know the grade in July 3. Just check in July 3 and let me know if any question. And then, and I think even if you know your grades for different sections, if you apply the formula, most likely you will know it, except the scaling part, because you will not know the maximum score of the class. But at the same time, this will increase your grade, not decrease for sure. So unless even if you get the highest point, if you are the person who got the highest, still it will increase your point, because the way we just multiply it, it will increase the point. Any question? What do you mean by average?
Yeah, we took 4 quizzes, so you're going to add them all 4 and 5, 4?
No.
Or you're going to get this high?
If you go to the grade book, you will see that I basically distributed the points. If you carefully look at the top, like for an example, like homework 1 or like quiz 1, you will see the percentage distributed to that. For an example, since we have 4 quizzes, right, and we have 20% there, so each quiz is like 5%. You know what I'm saying? And as far as I remember, because we have plenty of homework, we have a lot of sections. I think one homework is worth like 0.9%, because it's like, all are distributed equally. But the way you are saying, which is not exactly the same, but it's close. You are saying that I average and I distribute it, it will be same, very close, because at the end, I just distribute it equally. Because I'm saying all the quizzes has the same weight. So it's similar to just averaging and multiplying by 20%. It's the same. At the end. Have you tried the quiz for, I think some of you tried the quiz for chapter 8, right? Not all the 5 yet, maybe, but if not, make sure you finish it by 11:59 p.m. so that you don't run out of deadline. Any other question? No question? So if no question, we have two options. Either we are in extremely good shape, or something is wrong. Okay, now, first of all, regarding the chapter 5, I think we have, at the end of chapter 5, most of the questions will be like, there are like, even if you go to the quiz, you will see some questions a little bit here and there, but at the end, you will be doing the basic thing, like you will give an equation, solve the equation for x, you have to find the angles. That's the basic thing we do, but based on the question or based on the ranges, because the ranges are different, it may not be 0 to 2 pi, sometimes 2 pi is not included, sometimes pi is not included, so you have to be a little bit careful about those points, that which points are not included. But except that, I think most of the questions will be asking pretty much the same thing. And also don't forget that you still have a chance of getting, someone emailed yesterday, but I did not get a chance to add the extra credit for test 1 yet. I did it for some of them, but not all. So some of you probably see the extra credit for test 1. Some of you don't see it. I'm sure that I'll do it today, so that you will see your final grade after the test tomorrow. You will see all the grades, and if you participate into that bonus credit, you will also see the bonus point there. There will be a new column for the bonus, so you will see the bonus points, so that you will basically pretty much know the whole grade book, which is transparent to except the final factoring issue, because I'll not know it. And also after the final, you probably will not be knowing the partial credit, because I have to look at your summations separately. So, and also, you probably have noticed that since several situations, I changed a lot of things from the beginning, because at the beginning we planned to have the last, I was planning to take only the last score, best instead of the best score for the test, because that's what I used to do for my other classes in the regular semester. I'm talking about the fall and spring. But I noticed that many of you do not have the better grade second time. I don't know why, but that's why I changed the plan. So now it's set for the best grade. So what I'm going to do is, if you submit twice, if you submit once, that's just one submission. If you submit twice, I'll just, I usually look at the best submission, the grade with the best score, because that's the one that is going to be counted. So I just try to look at that. And also remember, if you really want to have some extra credit, a lot of extra credit, so make sure you do your work in page and paper. Make sure you write the numbers of the question for each submission separately, so that I will know exactly which one is what. Because if I find something, then I can see. Look at this. To get extra point, I need some clue. For an example, what happens at this point? Let's say the right answer is 8x squared, okay? And your answer is 5x squared, and I don't know exactly how you get 5x squared there, unless I see what you did, okay? So in those situations, I'm a little bit helpless. I don't know exactly how to give you extra credit, because I try my best to get extra credit. If you look at your extra credit pages, even I gave a lot of extra credit in cases of negative sign. I'm saying the sign change. Negative, positive, those sign change, because at least I understand that you did a lot of, but you probably messed up the quadrant, because I can make that sense. I can feel it that okay, you probably miscalculated the quadrant. Even I probably gave like 90% or something in those cases where the MyMATLAB gave you like 0% because it's just to match the answer. But otherwise, I'll not know it. And if you are planning to do something in calculator, like for an example, the matrix calculation in calculator, but I really encourage, if you really want to get the partial credit, you have to show your work, because otherwise, I don't know exactly what will happen, because you might have some wrong calculation there, wrong entry there. So I'll be helpless in those cases. Okay, write your name and then write your summation. Okay, summation 1, question number 5, question number 6. You don't have to have the draft for each and every question. Okay, but the ones that you suspect, make sure you show your work so that I can get the clue. Anything else? Gaussian,
yeah,
yes.
If they want us to use that, but it's just a simple matrix that we use the other one, that framework rule, can put it either way or not.
For an example, to be fair, if you really want to just, if your question is asking only for the answer, because in MyMATLAB you're not showing the steps. It doesn't matter how you found it, because as long as your methods are right, it doesn't matter whether you do it in Gaussian, whether you do it in Gaussian elimination, or you just try the Cramer's rule, you will still have the same answer. Even when you enter in the calculator, you don't exactly know how the calculator is calculating. I'm saying calculator has a software. The way it calculates has a software. I did not develop the software, so I don't know exactly what they do. But in general, I think they have everything, because as you know, that the Cramer's rule is not applied for everything. They have restrictions, so you have to be careful about those cases. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. What do you do? Because I'm saying, as long as you have the right answer, it should be fine. But I would still recommend that you know the steps, because some of the questions are a little bit tricky. You have to know exactly, because remember yesterday we were solving a question where there were 4 equations. There was a generic equations given, and 4 functions were given, like f of 3 is this, f of 6 is this, f of 9 is this. Then from those functions, we have to find 4 different equations. And out of the equations, we basically started working with the augmented matrix and then start from there. So understanding the matrix is not bad. You always get some credit from there for sure. Okay. Any other question? What sound is that? Yeah. That was it. Yeah, that was the only entertainment we had during the last test. I remember. Yeah. Any other question or any other comments? You can see we had the whole month, and we did not get a chance to discuss except the topics we had.
Last night, I met with the deadline for
Chapter 5, okay.
Yeah.
Chapter 5 what? The quiz.
Yeah.
Yeah. But remember, the homework is basically doesn't end, because you can always do the homework, because you have a penalty, but you can always submit the homework. But the quiz is something like you cannot try after the deadline. Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, could you open it up just so I can pick it up?
For the review, this is open, right?
Well, I tried to put it on.
Are you sure? But have you tried to go to the gradebook? Because that is only available, because I remember I mentioned one day, if you go to the gradebook, okay, what you have to do is, look, go to the gradebook, you will see your score, right? Click on the score. You will see your submissions there. And then you have to click the review. Do you see what I'm saying? Let me see whether I can pull it from my computer. The only problem is I have the same thing, but I don't see I did not submit it. So my scores are really bad. So don't laugh at my scores. Because sometimes I just submitted 1 or 2 questions, and sometimes I did not submit anything at all. In some quizzes, I just, just. So let's see. Let me see. Don't look at my score. Yeah, it's not good. Oops. Okay, you're talking about the quiz 3, right? Okay, now let's see. Gradebook. See, do you see this from the gradebook here? For an example, because what happens is, I only tried quiz 2 because I was just trying something is working or not. When you go to the quiz section, you should see these submissions. Don't laugh at my score, it's 0 out of 31. So, okay, now, and then you can see all the submissions, and these are the right answer, okay? And then since I did not submit anything, I probably was trying to see some question was working or not. Then these are the right questions, but if you go here, it shows you what you answered and what the right answer was. The right answer was 43, but I answered nothing, okay? And look at this one. These are all the right answers, and I answered nothing. And also remember, one of the things that I probably will tell you, because last time when I was looking at your test 2, I noticed that many of you sometimes don't respond to any question. But you have to be a little bit more optimistic, because if you respond, even if it is wrong, if I find any clue, I can give you like 10% at least. But if you just skip it, I see, okay, you have responded nothing. I'm helpless again, okay? So rely on the partial credit, because sometimes the really partial credit helps, because I even added like 10% in some questions. Because if I see some clue towards the right direction, some clue, I can give you like 10% there. But if you just leave it blank, no clue. So try to attempt the questions, try to answer, try to at least get some clue. And also remember, you always have to take the help from the left side. The left side, you can write all the fractions, pi, square root and all those things. And also make sure you understand that exact answer will be always coming from the pi. Keep the pi as it is. If the question is asking for write the exact answer, exact thing, that means don't make the pi into 3.14 or something like that, because that's not going to be accurate, okay? Keep it as it is. Even if it is like the square root of 13, just keep it a square root of 13. And that's why, because I saw that some of you have got the answer in decimal fraction, and MyMATLAB basically took all of your points. I added the extra point because I know exactly the answer is right. But I did not give you 100%, I probably gave you like 95%, because that answer is not accurate. Anytime if you just go for fraction, for pi, even for those square root, like the square root of 11, even if you try it in the calculator, you will not be able to write it accurately, unless you have a square root of 3, a square root of 4, square root of 25, 36. Those cases you get the exact whole number, right? Otherwise, just writing the decimal fraction. So try to avoid writing decimal fraction as much as possible. And also, one more thing is, when you write your answer, write it in simplest term. For an example, don't write 2 by 6. Write 1 by 3. Because in those cases, I probably will look at it, and for sure you will get the extra credit. But
How would you use
let me check. Okay, let me write it here so that everybody can look at it. So how do I simplify some question like this? Now it depends on how the, okay, now let's see. So I have something like 1 plus square root 2 by 2, 1 minus, this is your question, right? Now, in this case, I think in general what we do is, we have, if you multiply both, then you know that you can multiply the denominator and numerator by the same number, right? So exactly if you do this, for an example, you multiply the denominator and numerator by 2. What do you get? Here you will have 2 plus square root 2, and you will have 2 minus the square root of 2. That's a little bit better, right? I think that's the best you can do.
Would that be the final answer?
I think so. See, you can make it differently. You can write it differently, but that will not be simpler than this.
Right. What I was thinking is the international economy, if it had a square root at the bottom, I was wondering if I had to take a step further down.
Yeah, I think this is the best you can do. For this one, that's the best you can do. So just multiply by, because if you have a common denominator, just multiply by that to both denominator and numerator. So it will look simple. But even if you don't have it, for an example, let's say this is the answer given in the MyMATLAB. For some reason, your answer is this. So you lost all of your points. But when I will review, you will get some points here, probably at least 95%. Not 100% because you did not simplify it, but don't rely on those. If you get a chance, just get it right. But because when I see it, I know that that's the right answer as well. So. But always try to write in the simplest term, simplest form. Don't write like 4 by 16. Just write 1 by 4 because in those cases the MATLAB. Any other question? Or any other comments about the class or anything you did not like or something that you want to share with the class? We cannot change anything for this semester because we're almost done, but maybe that may be useful for the future students, or something that you want to change, but we cannot change things sometime. But
some of the homeworks are really long, especially like early on, like
functions.
30 questions. Yeah, man, they were really long.
Yeah, so one of the reasons.
A lot of times it was like similar questions repeating,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. It's just,
Yeah, I think that might be a question, might be a concern. But one of the reason because I know exactly what he was saying. One of the reason I wanted to do that, I know that the summer is not a good. We don't have enough time in the summer. We always run short. But at the same time, I always wanted to see that you practice a lot. Even if you have a chance of submitting infinite number of times, we don't have the definition of infinite. But I'm saying, for an example. I was assuming that you will at least submit once. And that's why I tried to vary the question, because even you have the same question twice or thrice, I'm saying the numbers are changing. And I want you to practice those questions. Yeah, because at the end of the day, I know that the mastering math is nothing but practicing. The only difference between you and me is the practice, nothing else. I probably practice a little bit more than you because even if after that, look at this, sometimes I make mistake, you will also make mistake because everybody makes mistakes, and that's why I want to give you a second chance, even in the test. And as far as you know, in the whole campus, this is the only class we have the second chance in the test. Now, in the homework, there are plenty of classes that give unlimited chances, or like 5 chances, 10 chances. Those are close to unlimited because you don't have chance for more than 10 submissions in one homework in most of the cases. That was the purpose, but the purpose was for you. I know that you, again, and most of the questions in the first chapter, I'm talking about the function, where I thought those are a little bit shorter than the later chapters like chapter 8, because in the chapter 8, all the questions are much more longer than chapter 1. That was the purpose, but for sure I'll look at those later on, see whether I can. But the homework was the first atom you try on that chapter, and a lot of restriction. You probably have seen some of the restrictions. I think some of you have seen it during the test. There are some restrictions. I eliminated some restrictions later during the test time, but there are some restrictions for the quizzes and for the test as well. You will not be able to do the quiz if you don't have 65% in the homework. You saw it, right? So those are also because of you. Because what happens is, from my experience, that's sharing absolutely my experience, because I took a lot of graduate math classes from University of Memphis while I was a doctorate student of engineering. So what happened, I'm an engineering student, so most of the people from the engineering, they think that they know math, but that's not true. So when you go to the math department, I'm talking about, for an example, most of the engineering students, they take discrete math. Discrete math is a math from computer science, right? They take all the differential calculus and everything they do when they did their undergrad. So they assume that they know math. But when you go to the math department with the MATH graduate classes, starting with 7 or 8, those are the real graduate classes. Then you will see what you know exactly. Okay. So don't get frustrated if you really want to go there. But what happens is, most of the time I found this. When you take a class, that will be most exciting class for you if you are ready. What do you mean by ready? if you have a right background for that class. For an example, for this class we have here, this is not an elementary class. I'm saying this is not the first math class you should have. There should be some background, for an example, like DSPM 850 in Southwest, right? If you have the right background there, every math class will be exciting and useful. But if you don't have the right background, for some reason, somehow you passed that class, you did not have a good grade, and somehow you bypassed that, or you did it probably like 10 years before, something like happened like that, none of the math class you will enjoy ever. Okay? So understanding math is another thing that you always have to have the right background. And you have to choose the right class, and you have to take it when you are ready. If you don't do it, you will never enjoy math. You will never like math, because I did the same thing, because when I was a graduate student, sometimes I took some classes, and then later I have to drop it just because I found within the first 2 weeks I realized that this is not the right class for me because I don't have the right background. My instructor gave me the permission because of something else, but later on I thought, I can take the class, I can probably pass it with not probably A or something else. I can probably get C or B or whatever, but I'll not enjoy the class. And my purpose was not basically passing math because I was not a math major. My purpose was understanding math because I have to apply those math in my research. So then but later on when I took the class, same class, with the right background, I was ready. I really understood the math. I really enjoyed it. So that's again, I know that many of you are not math major here, but that's probably a lifetime advice I can give you to you. You will always enjoy math if you're ready. For an example, if you understand most of the materials in this class, and if you take like 1750, I don't know exactly how many of you need that, but some of you, at least from the engineering, I know that you need 1750. If you take it in the next semester, not in summer too, probably in fall, you will really enjoy this class. Because you understood most of the materials and we did not skip any single topic of the class. Then you really enjoy it, okay? But if you take it like 2 years from now, then probably you'll forget a lot of things and you'll not be going to enjoy it. Okay? Any other question? My undergrad was in computer science. I did a bachelor in computer science, and then I did a master's in computer science, and then I did a master's in electrical engineering. Then I did a master's in business administration, which is MBA. Basically, I'm still a PhD student at University of Memphis. I'm a doctorate student at University of Memphis. And what happens was during my dissertation, because I'm not done yet, during my PhD work, my supervisor advised me to take a lot of classes from math department because I have to build some background on math so that I can apply it in my research in computer science. But what happened, at some point I found that I have taken more than 18 graduate math hours for that, and with that, I can get a master's in mathematics. I did not need it, but I applied for that. So yeah, because getting a master's in mathematics, you just need like 21 credit in mathematics. Remaining classes you can get from other majors. So that's how I did more than almost like a master's mathematics student. Yeah. Say it again. Qualified for what? Yeah, sure. Yeah, but the business was, I tried all of these different things. Computer science and electrical engineering is not too far, but master's in business school is absolutely different. But one of the things for some of you, it might be useful information. One of the reasons I wanted to do a master's in business because of this, because it was easy, first of all. For any engineering student, computer science or mathematics student, getting a master's in business is easy, but it's a little bit different, like this. For an example, is any business major here? Okay. I'm not trying to say something bad about them, but something like this. For an example, for the engineering and math student, they are good at equations. They are good at formulas. They can write everything in terms of like variable t, where this is equation. Okay, now, for the business student, it's a little bit different. They can write of nothing. Okay? Their assignments are like this. They give you an assignment and they mention, okay, you have to write 8 pages. Okay? They just sit down and they can write. They can just write much better than us. No engineering student, math student, and computer student can write 8 pages out of nothing. But they can do it. And even after that, what happens is when they go to their teacher, they submit the assignment, the teacher said, oh, it's not 8 page, it was like 15 page. They come back next day with the 15 pages on the same topic. Even for me, it was really hard. What happened was for each and every assignment when I was in business school for my MBA, what I did was for each and every assignment, I did this. Let's say this is the assignment, that was an assignment, that was a problem. I first have to write the question, and then I have to write the answer. So I was not like that because I cannot write like 20 pages out of nothing. So I wrote the question first, and then I answered the question. Later on, I erased the question. It was so bad for me. But you know, they have some math as well, like finance and accounting. Those are raw math, and they really hate those. Some business students, they really hate those. But no, those are not hard for math. But one of the reasons that you should try the business school, because some of the things I realized like this. For an example, the math students, engineering students, they're great at technologies. But at the end of the day, you have to sell it. Even if it is an idea, you have to sell it. I'm saying, let's say you build the best technology of the world, but nobody will buy it unless you know how to sell it. I remember when I was in business school, I remember in 1950s at some point, the Coca-Cola lost their business because nobody was buying Coke, and they did a lot of research, they invested a lot of money, and then after like 2-3 years, the researchers came to a conclusion that the flavor and the taste and Coke will remain same, everything is fine. Only thing that you need to change is the shape of the bottle. At that time, the Coke was sold in the glass, and they changed the shape of the bottle just like a gourd. After that, Coke became famous again, and now, still up to now, that was the most popular. So some of those things will probably go out of the head of the engineering students, that how that works, but that really works.
So you still want to teach, or do you want to somehow get into
I'm still teaching, and let's see, because I have to finish my doctorate first, for sure. You see, the people who does those, at least the doctorate dissertation, they always run for the teaching or research job. Like working in, like, you can go to the best place of the research, like Microsoft, Google, those, because they have the research side as well. And all of the research positions they have, those requires doctorate. And they always want for someone who understands math as well, because you know that, right? Let's say all the people who is writing the software, the apps, and all those things, they understand math at least as equal as like PhD student in mathematics. If you understand math, a lot of things will be easier for you. It doesn't matter what is your major. That's the good side. It doesn't matter what is your major. Because here in the Southwest, I'm the only faculty in the technologists who teach in math department. Nobody else, because they know math as well, but they're unlucky because they did not have the 18 graduate hour in math. And I did not even plan when I was doing, but I just did it for my own dissertation. Okay, any other question regarding the course or anything that you want to know or something? You know the grading right now, right? So any other problem? And don't forget that you can still send me email, just in case if you run into any problem, just send me an email. I'll try to answer by midnight for sure. If you have any question in the homework, quiz, or anything. Okay, and we'll meet in probably in 205, but you know the 205 and 203, those are nearby rooms, so probably in 205 tomorrow. If no other question, we can dismiss our class here, right? Yeah. I can supply sheet, or if you want, you can. Oh, I think the formulas for those. Make sure you don't have any examples, but you can bring the formulas. Yeah. I gave you some formulas, but I think that is not enough. You can, yeah. Yeah. You can always bring the formula sheet. Even if you forget to bring the formula sheet, I can give you the formula sheet. Or you can write your own formulas there. Bring the formulas, doesn't matter. And even if you don't bring it, or if you don't have it, just let me know. I can give you the formulas. But I'll give you all the formulas. Not the formula to that question. I'll give you all the formulas that I have. Even if you don't have the formulas, just let me know. Yeah. You can bring the formula, yeah. For the Cramer's rule and those, yeah, you can always bring the formulas. The best would be, you can also print the slides, some of the slides here. Remember some of the slide, we have exactly the formulas, nothing else. So, for an example, some of the formulas, we have all the trigonometric identities, some of the formulas. So, just bring those and we can, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Any other question? And if you really want your bonus, just make sure you finish the bonus and email me the submission confirmation page attached, okay, so that I can add the points before tomorrow. Any other question? And I really encourage you to do the bonus points before the final, okay? Because from the statistics, it was found that most of our students do not like their teachers after the final. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.